You do not need more motivation. You just need a psychological loophole called the 1% rule.
The motivation loophole. You do not need more motivation. You do not need another loud motivational speech telling you to grind harder. Wake up at 4 a.m. or completely overhaul your life by tomorrow. What you actually need is a psychological loophole called the 1% rule. We constantly tell ourselves that to change our lives, we need to change everything all at once. But your brain hates sudden, massive changes. It treats them as a literal threat to your survival. Instead of fighting your own mind, what if you could quietly hack it? What if you could trick your psychology into believing you are already the successful person you want to be, without even trying that hard? Welcome to the art of identity hacking, the cognitive dissonance. The reason your new habits fail after 3 days is not because you lack willpower. It is because of cognitive dissonance. When you try to adopt a wildly different routine, like working out for 2 hours when you usually do not exercise at all, your brain detects a lie. It looks at your past behavior, looks at this new extreme action, and says, this is not who we are. The friction between your current identity and this forced new habit creates massive psychological discomfort. Eventually, your mind forces you back to your baseline just to resolve that tension. To create lasting change, you must stop trying to change your routine and start focusing on changing your underlying identity first. Identity-based habits. This is where identity-based habits come into play. Your brain operates like a judge in a courtroom. It relies on hard evidence to form beliefs about who you are. If you want to view yourself as a disciplined, successful individual, you do not need a mountain of evidence. You just need daily microproofs, small undeniable pieces of evidence that prove your new identity is real. By focusing on tiny 1% improvements, you completely bypass the brain's alarm system. You are not running a marathon. You are just a person who puts on running shoes. You are not writing a novel. You are a writer who writes one sentence. These microproofs slowly but surely rewrite the script of who you believe you are. The daily microproofs. What does a daily microproof look like in practice? It is an action so incredibly small that it is absolutely impossible to fail. Yet it carries the symbolic weight of the person you aspire to become. It is making your bed the moment you wake up to prove to yourself that you are organized. It is reading exactly 1 page of a book to prove you are a lifelong learner. It is drinking 1 glass of water before looking at your phone to prove you respect your body. When you do these tiny things, you cast a vote for your desired identity. The goal is not the physical result of the action. The ultimate goal is the psychological signal it sends directly to your subconscious mind. Overcoming resistance. At first, your logical brain will resist this gentle approach. It will whisper, doing 1 push-up is pointless, or reading 1 page will not make you a genius. This is the critical moment where most people give up and try to go big again. But you must remember that you are not doing the 1% action for the immediate physical transformation. You are doing it to establish a completely new mental baseline. You are laying down the neural pathways of a new identity. Every time you complete that ridiculously small task, you are silently whispering to your subconscious, I am the kind of person who shows up. Over time, the internal resistance fades, replaced by an unbreakable quiet confidence. The compounding effect. As these daily microproofs accumulate, a magical psychological shift happens inside your head. The cognitive dissonance actually reverses its polarity. Instead of feeling friction when you try to do something good, you begin to feel friction when you skip it. Because your identity has fundamentally shifted, not doing the positive habit feels weird and out of character. You no longer have to force yourself to be productive or disciplined. It has simply become an extension of who you are. This is the compounding effect of the 1% rule. Small choices, consistently made, do not just add up to slightly better results. They multiply to create a completely new self-image. You hacked your identity, and the habits naturally followed. Living the new identity. Soon enough, this massive internal shift spills over into the real world. You will find yourself making larger, more complex decisions with absolute ease because you are no longer operating from a place of desperation or lack. You operate from the solid foundation of someone who is already successful. When you are presented with a massive opportunity, You do not paralyze yourself with self-doubt. You simply ask, what would a successful person do in this situation? And because you have spent months proving to yourself that you are indeed that person, through tiny 1% daily actions, your mind easily accepts the challenge. You have successfully bridged the gap between pretending to be someone and actually being them. The ultimate hack, the ultimate truth of self-development, is that you cannot hate yourself into a version you love, and you cannot stress yourself into a state of peace. Stop trying to overhaul your entire life overnight. It is exhausting, and history proves that it rarely works. Instead, give yourself permission to start ridiculously small. Gather your daily micro-proofs. Cast those tiny little votes for the person you want to become. Trust the 1% rule to gently and quietly rewrite your mental programming. Remember, you do not need to change your entire routine today. You just need to hack your identity and let your new self take care of the rest. Now go out there and prove it to yourself, just 1% at a time. The inspirations are yours. Subscribe, like, and watch all the video in this channel.